This is Radar for On the Radar Tape Blog, coming to another edition of MLB Observations of the 2022 season, Week 17, on the road. As you see, I'm in an Airbnb. Orioles. Okay, Trey Mancini's now been traded, so no longer him throwing in the outfield or him batting first or second. But still, why is Hayes batting fourth or fifth? The dude's not a middle-of-the-order hitter, nor is Ramon Urias. One's a utility player, one's a great defensive player. Two, they call it this Vavra dude who's an infielder, but guess what? They throw him in the outfield. And then they did DH him and someone else eighth. I'm like, you don't DH a guy eighth. You maybe DH Santander or Mountcastle or Nevin. Something that makes sense. And Adley Rutschman, I know he's supposed to be this good two-way catcher, but he's not a number two hitter. And they now have it most of the time having Austin Voth start for them, which is what he is. Reds, Kyle Farmer, we know this, he's a catcher playing shortstop. Nor is he a middle-of-the-order hitter, so batting in 3 through 6 makes no sense. Matt Reynolds, super utility man, is not an outfielder. He's not a number 3 hitter. He's a bottom-of-the-order hitter. And Donovan Solano, again, super utility man, is not a DH or a 5 hitter. And then stop playing Nick Senzel in center field. Now that Tommy Pham is gone, you can slide Senzel to left field because he's not a natural-born outfielder. He's an infielder by trade. And you have Fraley and you have Almora Jr. What do they bring to the table? Defense. Play them in center field. And also, Senzel's not a 6 or 7 hitter. Batting him second, that's a good idea because he's supposed to be a contact guy. Mets, we've been over this. I love Jeff McNeil, but he's not a 3 through 6 hitter, nor is Tyler Naquin a 6 hitter. And batting Lindor second means that someone who's not a 6 or 7 hitter is batting 6 or 7. The Marlins. Jesus Aguilar is not a 2 hitter, nor is Garrett Cooper. You're over this. They're in the middle of the lineup. Blade is a rookie, and De La Cruz is a young, inexperienced outfielder. They're not 4, 5, and 6 hitters, and nor is Miguel Rojas. Okay, he's a utility guy who's not the greatest hitter. Cardinals, Dylan Carlson, I guess you want him to bat leadoff because you don't want Tommy Edman to do that. That's fine. But again, they already made the move. Bader's gone. So, Lars Nootbaar, you and Carlson are the only center fielders on this team, and I'm not 100% on that defensive strategy there. Okay, and then O'Neal's not a 2 hitter. He's supposed to be batting somewhere 3 through 6. If you bat him after Arenado and Goldschmidt, that's great 3 through 5. Okay? And then Hicks, again, is he a closer, setup man, long relief, or starter? I don't know what they're doing with this guy because they don't have enough pitching. Nationals, Juan Soto. I know he's now been traded, but again, not a right fielder, not a 2 hitter. Not going to worry about that. Andrianza, not a left fielder, but I'm going to worry about it. He got traded to Atlanta. I know Maikel Franco hasn't been the player he's supposed to be, but he's not a 9 hitter because then you get the likes of Cesar Hernandez batting 5th or 6th. Yadier Hernandez batting 5th or 6th or 3rd. Those are not where they belong. Now, obviously, they got Luke Voigt, and he should be batting in the middle of the lineup. So should Nelson Cruz. Those are the only guys who should be doing that. The best lineup they had was Lane Thomas and Cesar Hernandez batting at the top, and then Juan Soto, Josh Bell, and Nelson Cruz. That's how it's supposed to be 1 through 5. Philly, Schwarber, Hoskins, you over there? Not middle of the order hitters. I mean, not 1 or 2 hitters. They're middle of the order hitters. Edu Herrera doesn't give you much value batting 7th or 8th. 9th, I get it. He's the second leadoff hitter. But now, he's DFA'd, so he's no longer with them. Theodore Gregorius, I thought he's a much better offensive player, but this year he struggled so bad and had an injury. So I was like, why is he batting 9th? Well, they just cut him officially. And Pirates, Ben Gamble is a great defensive outfielder, 4th outfielder on most teams. He's not a 4 or 5 hitter or a DH. And Van Meter, again, it's not wasting time with this quad A player when you got young guys. And Reynolds, 3rd is a great spot for him. Not 2nd, but 3rd is a pretty good spot. And again, not a center fielder. This team has a gluttony of center fielders. He should be playing left field where he's best suited. Them also DHing someone 2nd. You don't DH a 2nd hitter. And then Yoshi Tagugo, I thought he was supposed to be in the middle of the lineup with Vogelbach. Now Vogelbach's gone. You would think he'd bat higher. 8th, I thought was pretty low. But guess what? He got DFA'd, so it don't matter. I did like when Newman and Greg Allen were batting 1 and 2, speed and contact guys. And Key Brian Hayes and Michael Chavis, offensive guys who get home runs, are batting 3rd and 4th. Made sense. And Will Crow, again, wasting his innings as a reliever when he could start. Royals, Melendez is a catcher. Now, I know Salvador Perez is back, and you want to try this guy out, but he's not a leadoff hitter, nor is he an outfielder. I saw him make a really bad defensive play against the White Sox, and then a good play. So he's like, then you got enough guys who can play the outfield. Dozier, again, he and O'Hearn have no business playing the outfield. One should play first base and third base, or DH one of them. He did play third base a few times, like when I saw him, that was good. Prado, I thought he's a first base offensive prospect. Why is he in the outfield? You know, you could still play Dozier third base and DH O'Hearn and play this Prado guy at first base. It's possible. Nicky Lopez, he's played third base, second base, shortstop. Whit Merrifield traded, which I like when he was batting leadoff. That gives opportunity to Nicky Lopez to play the middle infield. It all depends if Bobby Witt Jr. is going to DH or if he's going to play shortstop or third base, because he's played both this week. Batting second, that's fine. Michael A. Taylor. No, Santana's gone, Benintendi's gone, and Whit Merrifield's gone, but batting in fifth or sixth, he's not a real great offensive guy. You want to go Santana, Dozier, O'Hearn, and this Prado dude instead. That's where I'm figuring out that that's probably the best situation for them, because Michael A. Taylor probably should have been traded at the deadline, and he is not, world's greatest offensive player. And then they lost the DH while it's moved ring, and then they called this guy Nate Eden, not to be confused with Adam Eden, the pitcher or the outfielder. He's a third base, but again, what did they do? They threw him in the outfield. Yankees, Tito May, he's batted first. Most of the time, he's played third base. He played first base. He batted second. That's perfect. Problem is, he batted second in a day where Anthony Rizzo led off, and Rizzo's not a leadoff hitter. Judge is not a two-hitter nor center fielder. We've been over this. And Isaiah Carvalho is a catcher playing shortstop. And Benintendi, they got him because I thought perfect. LeMay, you can say in the leadoff spot. You can bat Benintendi second, so no more Judge and Rizzo second. Nope. They bat Benintendi leadoff, and they bat him fifth. Not the spots for him. And then Matt Carpenter is still playing the outfield when he's an infielder, man. Tiger. Baez, wrong guy to bat second. Victor Reyes, perfect guy to do that. Harold Castro, super utility man, is not a 4 through 5 hitter or a 3 hitter, nor is he a first baseman. You got multiple first basemen on this team. Willie Castro, infielder by trade, played him second base one day in shortstop. Again, not an alpha. This team has enough alpha, even in the trade of Robbie Grossman. And Haas is a backup catcher. I wouldn't DH him or bat him cleanup. And then Michael Fulmer pitching out of bullpen when he's starter. I've lost that battle because he's now been traded to the Twins, and the Twins got him as a reliever. Grossman, when he was on the team, batted him third. Yeah, not the best spot, but left field's perfect, okay? And then the Blue Jays. Why the heck is Vladimir Guerrero batting second, and on some days, Gurriel batting first? It's like, you got guys who should be in the middle lineup batting the wrong spot. Alana Kirk's still batting third and DHing, and then Zach Collins last in a lineup where Espinal and Biggio haven't been hitting. That guy's got more power than those guys. Springer batting leadoff, even though he's not a leadoff hitter, he's perfectly in the middle of the lineup, and Bo Bichette was perfect in the 2 spot. Why is he batting fourth? And then Biggio batted leadoff one day, and I'm like, that's something that he did a while ago, or swapped with Bichette 1 and 2, and he played second base once. And I'm like, cool, they traded for Whit Merrifield. Maybe they could play Whit Merrifield at second base, get Chapman the day off at third base, or even play the occasional corner outfield. Nope, they threw him in center field right away. And I'm like, what are you doing? The dude's not a center fielder. You have Bradley Zimmer, Ryan Tapia, and George Springer. It makes no sense. Cleveland, Rosario, the whole batting second, and batting Jimenez fifth or sixth when Rosario's a better offensive player. And again, Owen Miller, super utility man, is not a first baseman or a cleanup hitter. You have a DH in Franmil Reyes, and you have a first baseman in Josh Naylor. Those are the guys who should be batting in the middle lineup and playing first base. Again, Clement playing first base as a utility man. Again, you got plenty of guys who can do that. Rosario should be a second baseman, and Jimenez should be a shortstop for defensive value. Rays, Johnny Diaz and G-Man Choi are not leadoff hitters. Okay, Diaz is also not a 2-hitter. Those are middle of the order hitters. Because then you get Randy Arozarena batting third or fourth and DHing. Lau batting fourth or third when he's perfect in the 2 spot. A DH spot should be maybe on Choi or Diaz, okay? Maybe. And then Paredes, again, super utility man, has no business playing first base when they got multiple guys who can play first base, and nor is he a 3 through 6 hitter. Makes no sense. Siri, I'm glad they got traded for this guy because the Astros weren't using him in the wake of injuries to 2 of their outfielders, Kiermaier and Margot. But you could have just kept Brett Phillips. That's just what I'm saying. But again, Siri's never been a 3 through 5 hitter. And then Jalen Beeks pitched out of bullpen, and then he started a game. But they've been using him as an opener when he's a really starting pitcher. You just let him go 3-4 innings. Yarborough, he's the bulk guy. He should just be starting because he's one of the only 2 starters they have. And then Chang, he played 1 day at shortstop. And I'm like, finally, they played the dude at his natural position. I'm shocked. And then Brewer Yelich, again, not a leadoff hitter or a 2-hitter. And so we got Kolten Wong, Urias, and Adames. That's where it makes the most sense. Because then Urias and Wong batting 5th and 6th. Not really the best spot for them. Rosario, again, is the first baseman playing third base. Red Sox. Vasquez, before they traded him, batting him 2nd, 4th. And that's not really he belongs. And he's also not a first baseman, but they weren't sure what to do with injury to Devers, so they moved Dell back to third base. He's traded now, so you're not going to worry about that. Verdugo, again, instead not a 3-hitter when you have 3 power guys in the lineup, and he's not a number 5-hitter. The best thing, though, is he's now going to play right field with the trade of Tommy Pham. That's perfect. Frenchie had no business playing first base, has no business playing he's an outfielder. They played him at least once. He's the best suited to be a 4th outfielder. JBJ, I've been over this. Not a right fielder, his best defensive value center field, but guess what? He played center field once, and now they cut him. So, again, I can't meet him, and they're not going to worry about the problem. Christian Arroyo, again, he's not a 5 through 7 or you bat at the bottom lineup, but hey, he played second base once. Not the outfield. Bogart. Devers was batting second for a bit. Now Bogarts is. I'm like, come on, that's not the spot for him. Diamondback. Kel Marte is not a 3-hitter in the top of the order. And don't waste a DH spot on him when you got like 3-4 catchers at first baseman. Dalton Varsho, speaking of catchers, playing right field and center field. And catcher playing the outfield. Carson Kelly is a catcher. He's not a leadoff hitter. And Jordan Luplo's not a 7-hitter. And Luke Weaver, I was saying, why did they bump him out of the rotation even with injuries when he's a starting pitcher? Well, the Royals now have him. They can actually start him. Atlanta Acuna, Weaver was not a leadoff hitter. You bat him in the middle lineup. God, he's been playing right field. But then in one day, he moved over to center field. Because God forbid, Harris played center field and you move Arcia to center field. You want to protect your value there. Darno's not a cleanup hitter. And again, I like Swanson batting second, Olsen batting third. Perfect spots for them. And Colin McHugh, again, wasting his innings as a reliever when he could start because they had to go out and get Jago Rizzi from the Astros, okay? Mariners, Julio Rodriguez, not a leadoff hitter. He's been exciting. Maybe bat him second, batted fifth or sixth. Ty France, we notice he's a middle-of-the-order hitter, not a 2-hitter. J.B. Crawford is not a 3-5 hitter. He should be back at the top of the lineup. Sam Haggerty, stop playing him in the outfield. This team has so many outfielders. There's no point. Jesse Winker is not an 8th hitter. He's a good offensive player, but he's not a 2-hitter. Bad middle lineup. Ty Malone, wasting his innings as a reliever when he could start. That's why they have to go trade for Boyd and all these other pitchers. They don't have enough body. Torrance, the catcher, pitched in a blowout, was interesting. But tired of Abraham Churro playing second base. When you have Frazier, Haggerty, and more, but then they even topped it by throwing him in right field when they have enough outfielders. Okay, Ty France played second base when they shifted things around. Again, that dude's a third baseman, first baseman. You can't play second base. Kyle Lewis is a waste of a DH spot. When you have Jesse Winker, you had Upton, now you have Carson Tandy, you have Suarez. It's a waste. And he's a center fielder by trade. He may not be the world's greatest center fielder, but you play him in the outfield. But he's definitely not a 3-hitter. Maneuvering around, they lost to DH. And again, Dylan Moore playing the outfield when they have enough outfielders. And Adam Frazier playing outfield is one thing, but center field is stretch. Astros, we notice Altuve is not a leadoff hitter. He's a perfect 2-hitter. And Yuli Gurriel is a middle-of-the-order hitter, not a 2-hitter. And he's been having a bad year. Why would you bat him that high? And then Pena, I would not bet him 6. 2 is a good spot. Bottom line is perfect. Elizabeth Diaz, playing him in left field, batting 5th. He's not a power guy or an outfielder. And Trey Mancini, what's the point of getting him if he's not going to bat after Alvarez and Bregman and Tucker? Like, it makes no sense. And then, the weird thing is, Dubon was playing center field. He's a shortstop. And Elizabeth Diaz was playing left field. He's a shortstop. And they played McCormick in right field. It's just like, you have center fielders on your team. Use them. Hayes, over this Chad Pinder and Matt Kemp, not left fielders. Stop playing them there. They're infielders. Don't waste the DH spot on Chad Pinder when you got guys who could DH. Vogt is one of those guys who could DH. Don't bet him 8th. Seth Brown is one of those guys who could DH or actually play the left field spot. Stop playing him at first base. Laureano going back and forth between right field and center field when he's the best suited to play center field. But he's also not a 4 or 5 hitter. Second or at the bottom of the line is perfect. Elvis Andrews is not a 5 or 6 hitter. He can't hit. And then, again, I wrote this twice. Seth Brown playing first base because he's not a first baseman. White Sox. I don't like seeing Yoel Moncada bat second. 5th and 6th, 7th, perfect because the dude hasn't hit that well. Pollock, I know he's been a little bit better offensively, but he's not a 3-hitter. 6th is a little bit too high, maybe 7th or 8th. I didn't have no problem batting second. Again, him playing center field in this lineup with 2 first basemen and Vaughn and Sheets in the outfield is not the world's greatest outfield. Okay? And Vaughn, he's been a good hitter, so I don't understand why he's batting 8th. 7th, 6th, that's fine. Vaughn batting second, I don't like it because he's not fast. But at least he makes contact, gets on base, and right field is stretched. Left field's fine, but he has enough innings playing right field. Okay? Josh Harrison batting 7th way too high. That's what happens when Yoel Moncada or Vaughn bat second. Harrison's not suited to be a 7-hitter. And Leor Garcia, I do not trust him in center field. You have Adam Engel. You play him in center field until Robert came back. Eloy, now that he's been back for a bit, they batted him 3rd. I like that, but Robert was really good batting 3rd. Now, if you're going to put Robert 2nd, Eloy 3rd, Abreu 4th, then at least Anderson and Robert got speed. So when Eloy and Abreu and Vaughn and Sheets come up, there's speedy guys in front of them. That kind of makes sense. Harrison, again, I wrote it, he batted 7th because it's not his spot. Now, Grandal batting 8th, I like that over Sheets because he's got to prove that he can hit because he hasn't been healthy all year. Dodgers, the whole Mookie Betts leading off Trey Turner too when Trey Turner's best suited to lead off. And Mookie Betts should be batting in the lineup because they need to get a guy like Will Smith batting cleanup. Max Muncy, Justin Turner, and Bellinger are guys that I would bat cleanup, along with obviously Freddie Freeman, not Will Smith. Bellinger, again, still playing center field when he's not a center fielder. And then utility man Hanser Roberto batting 5th. The dude's a super utility man. And then Bellinger batting 9th. I know he hasn't had a great year, but 9? Wow. If he's not a great center fielder and he's not a great hitter, why are you playing him in center field and batting him 9th? Just throw him in left field. Because no Chris Taylor. And then Mookie Betts playing second base to preserve himself. Still getting injured playing second base. Lux again playing the outfield when he's one of the only guys who should be playing second base. And then Price pitching out of bullpen. Again, they probably have too many starters, but he's got the experience and he's better suited than Tyler Anderson and Andrew Heaney, but that's just me. And then DHing someone a young outfielder, just play this guy in the outfield instead of playing Bellinger. Rockies, Chris Bryant, been injured multiple times, not a two-hitter. We've been able to see the middle hitter. Again, why is he not playing first base or DH? Why is he playing left field? And then Rogers, I'm glad he's playing every day, but he's not a 4, 5, and 6 hitter. And Iglesias not the world's greatest hitter, so why would you bat him second or first? And why would you bat him fourth or fifth or even DH him? That's kind of really stupid because he and Rogers are not DHs. They're not world's greatest hitter at this point. Grichuk, again, not a center fielder. They have multiple guys who can do that. Connor Joe, many outfielders. There's no need to play him in the outfield. You can DH or play him first base, which you did once. Blackman batting first more frequently. That's where he should be. Hampson, again, enough outfielders who can play center field. Let him play the infield. He's not a center fielder in Austin Gomber. They were talking about all this great praise about getting from the Cardinals, and now he's been relieving. When they could have traded Chad Kuhl, that would open up a spot. And then, Texas. You got Marcus Semien and Kyle Seager to be in the middle lineup. Not to bat 1 and the other one 2. Jonah Heim, he's a nice young catcher, but he's not a 2-hitter. He's not a middle-order hitter. And then Matt Moore and Garrett Richards, you get the best value out of them being a starter, not a reliever. Angels, Ohtani batting second or first. Not the best value with Trout injured. Upton was cut earlier in the year. And Rendon's injured. And you just got Walsh and Ward. You need some protection in the lineup. It's not Rengifo. Not a 3-hitter. Taylor Ward. Batting him third or fourth, fine. He's been a good offensive all-star caliber year. But again, not a 2-hitter and not an outfielder. Being a catcher. Third base is even a stretch. First base would probably be the best spot to put him, but you have Ward. You have Walsh, and you got Ohtani at DH. Okay, Tuki Toussaint. Atlanta gave up on this guy, and Anaheim has no pitching. They traded away some of their pitchers. So if I were them, with the second half of the season, we're not going anywhere. Give Tuki Toussaint an opportunity to start every single day. This high pedigree talent from the Diamondbacks. That's why Atlanta got him. Start him, okay? And Max Stassi is a backup catcher. Why is he batting 5th? And the Angels always lose the DH when Ohtani starts a game. Twins. Kyle Garlick is the first baseman by trade. With Miguel Sano being hurt and then not really having an actual DH, I don't understand why all year he hasn't played first base or DH. Also not a leadoff hitter. And Carlos Correa, you got to be bad in the middle lineup, not second. Buxton had been really good batting first, not switching between 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then Nick Gordon pitched in a blowout, continues to play the outfield, but then why is he batting 5th? He's a speed contact guy. Polanco, they say he's a bad defensive shortstop, but then he still comes in and plays shortstop instead of Nick Gordon. And then again, if you found the perfect spot for him, it's 5th, not 2nd, not 3rd, not 4th. And Miranda, stop playing third base, because then Arise, who's not a first baseman, has to play first base. Let Miranda slide over and play first base. He's better suited. And then Arise plays second base once. And again, he's not a leadoff hitter. He's a perfect 2-skide right behind Buxton before you get to Correa and Kepler. They lost the DH Renova maneuvering, and then, Miguel Sano came back. I was like, one thing when I went to Minneapolis, I was like, I wonder if Kenta Maeda and Miguel Sano have been with the team. They've been out all year. Nope, they batted him 8th. I'm like, I know he's trying to get back. That's way too low. And then Jarrell Cotton, I'm tired of him pitching out of bullpen when he should be a starter in this team. But again, they DFA'd him, so it don't matter. And Buxton went back to batting first twice this week, which is fine. And then Tim Beck, I'm glad he's back from that drug suspension, playing the minor leagues. But what is he? A shortstop. So why is he playing left field like Nick Gordon, Kyle Garlick? And why is he DHing when you got guys who could DH? Padres. Profar, we know it's not a leadoff hitter or a left fielder, but hey, the Padres are thinking, you know what? We're gonna stupidly put our new acquisition, Juan Soto, second instead of Manny Machado, when the two of them should be batting 3rd and 4th, and Josh Bell should be batting 5th. Okay? Depending on what you do with Brandon Drury and what you do with Will Myers, who's coming afterwards, and Tatis in the lineup, that's how you should do it. Cronenworth, even though he's not a 3 through 5 hitter nor a first baseman, there's plenty of first basemen on this team. Yeah, Voit is gone, but still, there's plenty of first basemen. Lamet, I started pitching him as a reliever when he's a starting pitcher, and he had a pretty good 2020. Got traded to the Brewers, so it's moot, but then they cut him. Grisham again, batting 7th. I either want this dude at the top of the lineup or 9. And then Will Myers got to play first base once. I'm like, yeah, he's not a great outfielder. And okay, but now that you have Juan Soto, and you still have Will Myers, and you got Mizar on this team and some other guys, play Juan Soto in left field, so Profar's not playing left field anymore. And you could play Will Myers and Mizar and other guys in right field, and that'll be a lot better. Because again, Juan Soto's not a right fielder or a 2-hitter. He should be batting 3rd. He's the perfect guy to bat 3rd. Machado's a cleanup hitter, and Josh Bell bats 5th. That's a pretty scary lineup. And you could put Tatis 2nd. If you don't want to put Cronenworth 2nd, or you bat Cronenworth leadoff, it doesn't matter. Still better. And then the Cubs. Contreras, we know, is not a two-hitter or DH. Should bat in middle lineup every day. Or take a leading off playing center field. Perfect. That's what they got him for. Happ, perfect in the 3 spot, not cleanup. It's a little bit of a stretch. He's not a power guy. And Horner's not a 5-hitter. He's a young shortstop trying to figure it out. And Wisdom, again, first baseman playing third base. He finally played first base. I was like, oh my God. And Bodie, a third baseman playing second base. Stop doing that. He finally got to play third base once this week. And Morel, leading off, playing second. Perfect. But again, they threw him out in center field again. And Stephen Brault, again, starting pitcher pitching on the bullpen. The Cubs don't have enough starting pitching. And lastly, the Giants. Yastrzemski's been a good player, turned his career around with the Giants, but he's not a 3-5 hitter. Tyro Estrada's not a 6th hitter. He's a backup shortstop. Austin Slater's an offensive power guy, so I don't want him batting leadoff for second. And he's a corner guy, not a center fielder. And then I was tired of seeing Jared Ruff play left field when they wasted the DH spot on Lamonte Wade, a center fielder who could play all 3 outfield spots, and batting Ruff first when he should be batting the middle lineup, because then those guys who are batting the middle lineup don't belong there. Brandon Belt, same thing, not a 2-hitter, you bat in middle lineup. And I was mood about Ruff playing left field because he just got traded, but still. Thanks for listening to another edition of MLB Observations of the 2022 season for Week 17. I'm Radar. See you guys next time.